Running 101.
Running 101.
Running 101.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Running 101. I hope you're all doing all right. Taking it slow, steady, and keeping it consistent. This week it's week 15, which is race week for me. The Berlin Marathon is on Sunday. A good mix of emotions right now, excitement and nervousness at the same time. So I've been making the most of the taper period. Been easing up on volume and focusing on hydration, conditioning, and recovery this week. It goes without saying, I'd like to wish all those in their training block the very best for Berlin and beyond. So today we're quite lucky enough to be joined by a pair of runners who are absolutely no strangers to running. Having started in pre-COVID times, 2015 and then 2017, the both of them. They have a total of 10 marathons between them, consisting of London, Berlin, and Manchester. Both are ambassadors to running, no doubt, representing their running community. Not only are they sisters, in fact, they're actually twins. Samia and Tasnia, welcome to Running 101.
Thank you. Thank you for having
very
us.
much. That was a lovely introduction.
I'm kind of out of breath. Hopefully it's worth it. How are you both doing?
Yep, just like you
good,
said,
yeah.
tapering.
This is going to be the hard part, you know. I haven't had two people on this before, but you know what? Why don't you guys sort out who's going to go first and who's going to go second? We'll go into what you're actually training for, or both of you are training for, surely. But in general, how have things been for you in terms of the summer period coming to an end? How was your summer?
For myself, because I'm a maths teacher, so I had the summer holidays. I could really just focus on running, and I don't have children, so I didn't have to. Well, I say I don't have children. I have pretend children. But I didn't have to worry about childcare and all of that sort of thing. I
Sure.
could just focus on training.
Good stuff. Samia, how about yourself?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a little bit different to Tasnia, but I was still working and still have the children are off school, so we had to kind of manage running and training around work and children, but we managed.
Sure.
Managed.
So, tell us. Let's hear a bit about both of yourselves. I mean, one person could probably tell the other person's story, right? But no, let's Tasnia, let's hear a bit about yourself. What you do, what keeps you busy.
Literally, my life is teaching, so work, Samia's kids, food, sleep, and then a bit of running on the side. And that pretty much sums me up.
Nice. Samia, how about you?
So I work as a pharmacist, so there's that aspect, and then I've got 3 children that we're trying to raise to be, good humans. And then running is more like a sort of outlet for me, something that I do for me.
Good. So how has that been around the summertime and stuff for both of you? I mean, I for me, it was my first summer training block, to be honest. So I found it quite tough. Having run London earlier in the year, in comparison to the winter time, I would take a winter training block anytime. How about yourselves?
I don't know. I think because I'm fortunate enough to have the 6 weeks off, and I know it is usually obviously very hot when we're training, but I find with summer training, I can set off later and I'm still back home, like I'm ready to pray and everything. I'm not worried about missing any prayers. Whereas in the winter, I have to set off early and I love my sleep. So I don't know. I mean, other than the heat, I actually prefer the summer training because I feel like I have time. Whereas with winter training, I really need to be on top of my time management and discipline and just generally be more organized, which I struggle with.
Sonia, how about yourself for the summer in
I think
comparison
I
to the
agree with
winter?
Tasnia here. I think with the summer, you do need to be, you can be a little bit more lenient with time. You're not so worried about missing prayers.
Mm,
But because I'm still working and then we have the children,
sure.
you have to juggle a lot more. Whereas winter training, because they're in school and I'm up anyway for work or for the school run, I can just go off on my run. And
Mm.
it's a lot
So the
cooler as
flexibility is
well.
there, you're saying.
Yeah, and it's a lot cooler. So because we are covered, it's a lot more it's a lot more comfortable to run in than being covered head to toe and running in the heat.
Good stuff. So, I mean, you shared your times with me in regards to Samia. You started in 2015, was it? And Tasnia 2017. So, yeah, let's start with you, Samia, having started earlier. Where did the running come from? Where did you start?
So my older sister used to play basketball and she would do a lot of running. And
Mm.
we started going running during our college days for maybe 2 weeks and then stopped because we realized this isn't for us. And then I met my husband in 2012 and he told us that he's a runner. And I really didn't care for anything else that he did. I was just fascinated that he was a runner. And then I thought, okay, after I got married, I was like, I'm going to start running with my husband. But when I did run 800 meters with him, I felt like my lungs were bleeding because he was just going so fast. And then he joined me on to park runs and I enjoyed that. So it's actually 2014 I started running. I just started doing park runs and then going around locally, and I enjoyed running on my own. I realized that actually I enjoy this. I don't have to go with anyone.
And so it was your sister who got you into it. And I guess, Tasnia, you followed soon after?
Yeah, so we did our 2 week stint. I actually joined Samia on a park run. Samia told me she's pregnant in 2015, and then she was
Mhm.
like, "Look, I want to do park run, but I'm just going to take it easy." And I just thought, "Oh yeah, I can walk with you. It'll be nice, or we'll have a nice chat." And then we sort of ran a bit, walked a bit, ran a bit. Then we went to support Shahib, Samia's husband, at London Marathon in 2015. And my main reason for going was Samia's pregnant. I know there's crowds, and I'm worried she's going to faint because it was still early days. And that, I mean, honestly, that was a turning point for me because obviously we went to support Shahid, but when I saw all those runners, people, literally all shapes and sizes, all ages, um, running. And at this point, I think we were at mile 18 and these people were still going.
Mhm.
And I just thought, the thing that saddened me, and I said this before, I think maybe it's because we just weren't there long enough, but I didn't see very many Asian people, like South
Mm.
Asian people,
Got it.
specifically women, and also hijab wearing women. Um, but maybe it's just because we weren't at a spot long enough. But for me, that was the turning point that, if these people can do it, if people can do it in a costume, a hijab for some people is just a costume of some sort, then I can run like 5 kilometers, 10 kilometers. At first, we said 10 kilometers. I remember me and Samia laughing about this. After the marathon, I said to Samia, I'm going to do a 10K. And then we were laughing and laughing. And then we were like, yeah, let's just stick to 5 kilometers. And then it sort of went from there, 2015. I did my first marathon in 2017, only
Yep.
because I got in for 2016. I got in via a charity, but then my lung collapsed 4 weeks before the marathon.
Ouch.
Um,
I actually
yeah,
collapsed.
yeah. So
Whoa.
I knew my thorax. Um, and then the charity were very kind enough to sort of do all the paperwork and admin behind scenes to defer my entry into 2017. But yeah, I think, like Samia said, um, no, so I think Samia enjoyed running for the sake of running. For me, like I said, because I struggle with staying disciplined and organized and so on, I need a goal. So for me,
Mm.
having the marathon to train for meant I would stay consistent with running.
Something to keep you going, right?
Yeah, but I think that will change during COVID.
Yeah. So, I mean, to be honest, one thing that I have, based on a few notes that I made, I started myself during COVID, so to be honest, I can't really imagine how things were before that, based on how much has changed in the last 5 years, because that's what I've seen. What change have
Mm.
you seen? I mean, you've already touched on one, which is you were like spectating there to not only look after your sister but also support your brother-in-law. And obviously that's when you notice, like, well, people are out there. You mentioned all shapes and sizes. Sorry, I'm doing a bit of a summary there. And yeah, that's what made you kind of throw yourself into the deep end at that point in time. But besides that, what other change have you seen in running?
I think for me, it's seeing, I mean, obviously with every training block, I've always done some half marathons in between, and even in those half marathons, um, pre-COVID, there wasn't as many hijab wearing women, and post-COVID, there have been far more. And I think it is just because during COVID there was nothing else to do than go running and go for walks. And then a lot of people realized, like I did in 2015, it really is just putting one foot in front of the other at a very basic level.
Mm.
Um, but in terms of park runs, in terms of your run through events, there's a lot more South Asian women. There's a lot more hijab wearing women. And I think it's also because people, since COVID, there's also been a push for mental health awareness as well, and the benefits of running when it comes to mental
Absolutely.
health. And I'm not talking marathons. I am just talking, your 3 kilometers, your 5
Yeah,
kilometers,
absolutely. Yeah.
your, going to the junction and back. I think
The
it's,
fact that
um,
you're out there, I mean, that's a necessary part. Just being out there.
Yeah,
yeah, being outside and moving.
Mm.
yeah. And I think
I think for me, that's the main thing.
I think also during COVID, a lot of us, not just South Asians and not just Muslims here, but a lot of us realized we were cooped up at home. We were in a lockdown.
Mm.
Running gave us that sense of mental clarity, which a lot
Mm.
of us got beforehand, but a lot of us, like maybe yourself, Nadine, you discovered during COVID lockdowns, and I think it's wonderful now to see lots of different people running, not just your typical running middle class people that are running. It's nice to see people from lots of different backgrounds, socioeconomic backgrounds, ethnicities, ages running now. So
Absolutely.
yes, COVID was it was a turning
A
point for a
turning
lot
point.
of us, but I feel
Mm.
like there has been some benefits come out of it as well.
I think something touched upon that, the whole socioeconomic. I think people, I mean, every time I've seen the marathon, I remember as a child, my aunt used to live on the highway, so we would see the marathon go past, and honestly, it was just middle class white men that we were seeing. There was very
Mm.
few women, and it's generally white people running. And now it's become more and more accessible for others. But running doesn't. When we say running, I'm not talking marathons here. I'm just talking about going outside. I
Yeah.
think people
Yeah.
realize that um, it doesn't matter what background you're from, and it is affordable. I mean, you can talk about, your carbon plated shoes and all the fancy gear that are out there, but just for your local park run, your local club run, you really don't need the fancy stuff. You just need a good pair of, running trainers that, are cushioned, or some sort of support. And that's it. You can just go out there and run. You don't need the fancy, backpacks and watches and trainers and all that sort. And I think people see that on social media and might be put off running.
Yeah, I think that the wrong things are it kind of has gotten out of hand. I think it's become a little more commercial and materialistic at the same time in terms of what you use, what gadgets you have, what gear you actually have. Like I'm just going to reference going to one or two run clubs recently, and someone's just thinking, "Oh man, half marathon, how have you done it?" And it's just like, no, don't forget, you're here for like a 5K today. You've just made the biggest change. That's it. You belong in this
Mm.
community, whether you like it
Yeah,
or not.
yeah,
Don't think that it's about doing the volume. No, the fact that you thought, I need to get my health sorted out, I need to get fit, and you took the move to come out of your house and come all the way here for this 5K, 7K, whatever it is. you've already made that biggest change, and that's what it's all about.
It's also important to remember things like running, anything, whether it be strength training, weightlifting, meditation, anything. Consistency is better than the volume you do. So, for example, with my dad, he did do a few runs here and there before COVID, but then during COVID, he was living with his brother, or his brother was living with him, and he saw how weak my uncle had become from just bad life choices. And so he made that decision to just run 2 to 4 kilometers nearly every other day. And he's not going to be doing marathons or half marathons, but it's the fact that he's running consistently, which is helping him.
Yeah. And that's the biggest change that he's brought on himself.
Absolutely.
And fingers crossed. I mean, it's something for you to see and be quite proud that, yeah, someone's looking after themselves. I mean, at the end of the day, it's your dad. So that's another thing to be proud of too, that he's still thinking that, yes, I can sort myself out. I can get healthier. I can stay fitter. And that's what we should all do more, look after ourselves. That's what it's mainly about.
Someone like my dad, where he comes from a different generation where it's just about surviving. Like he's come from Bangladesh to Europe and then to England, so they don't have time for exercise. That's the last thing on their mind. But someone like my dad, who has now at his age now changed that mindset slightly, shows that it can be done.
Yeah, and obviously he's learned from you, and he's taken that page out of your books, right? So that's something to be really proud of. And I feel hats off to you, and a big pat on the back for kind of showing or inspiring not only other people, but of all people, your dad for starters. In terms of the changes that you have seen, where you have seen so many more people out there, you've mentioned Muslims, you mentioned female Muslims wearing the hijab. How does it feel now when you see the representation out there?
I absolutely love it.
For me, it's exciting.
I remember at London Marathon 2024, lots of hijabis were overtaking me. Lots of them were overtaking me, and I just felt so happy because, loads of people were overtaking me anyway. But the idea that it's like people from my community overtaking me just felt really nice. And I'm not saying that I'm fast and they're overtaking me, so they must be faster, but it's the fact that they were definitely going for sub 5:30, sub 5. So anyone that goes for like a sub 5 marathon, I feel like is fast, because I've never done that. So it was just nice to see all these ladies doing that. I even saw a niqabi and I was just so happy.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I have to give it to you guys and the other sisters out there. I don't know how you do it. I can't give you enough credit for it, because given the circumstances, the weather out there, that's just one part of it though. But there are other circumstances as well, right? That you have to go above and beyond and kind of to change the norm, to make some space to fight that stigma.
Yeah. And I think what Tasnia's done, which is quite nice, she started a hashtag when she first started running, and she's got it on her back, and I've got it on the back of my vest, is this is what a runner looks like, because, we're in our hijab, we're in our abaya running, and we're running. So this is what a runner looks like, because we are running. We don't have to be in shorts. We don't have to be in T-shirts. We don't have to be in leggings. We can run in an abaya. And I've even seen brothers running in thobes, but they're very definitely running. So it's just nice. It's caused some stir-ups, but it's putting the word out there that we don't have to look like your typical WhatsApp emoji runner. We can be dressed however and still be a runner.
There's definitely space out there. I mean, to be honest, it's definitely accepted now. I can't say what it was like before. I'm sure there were the boundaries in place before, or there was just a belief that, well, you're either part of it or you're not. What are some of those social aspects that we kind of, well, let's say the Muslim woman has to deal with in order to make that presence into the running space, do you think?
I think for me, when I remember speaking to Samia saying how the reason why I can't get into running is because I wouldn't know what to wear. So this is a conversation we had back in 2015. And then it just became us researching fabrics, and then we sewed our own abayas. And for me, I didn't want to compromise on my understanding of hijab. So it was researching fabrics, researching like the weight of fabrics so that we can still run, it can still be moisture wicking and so on. And then going out, buying it and making it. And then that was it. We were ready to go. But in terms of now, there's a lot more out there for, in terms of what to wear. So for women who feel like they can't go out running because they wouldn't know what to wear, there is definitely a lot more out there. There's a lot more. It's very commercialized. Wherever they see money, it's going to, like, wherever there's a market, people will try and take it. And there's loads of brands out there trying to make hijabs, more modest wearing clothing for women. So I think that's one aspect that we didn't have or weren't aware of back in 2015,
And
2014.
that's a huge change that you've seen, right?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. I think another aspect as a Muslim woman, though, as a married Muslim woman is there's a lot of barriers put in front of us. So being a woman, there's a barrier, and then being from an ethnic minority, there's another barrier. But I think as Muslims, especially South Asians, we put a lot of responsibilities on the woman to take care of the household. So it's like, well, you shouldn't be running because that's taking time out of your duties and responsibilities in the house. But what they don't realize is when that woman, refills her cup, whether that be through meditation, through reading, through running, she can then she can pour from that cup. I don't think I had it as much because Shahib has been very supportive with my running. He's always pushed me to run. In fact, sometimes I'm just like, just be quiet, I don't want to go running. But he's been very supportive, so I've not actually had as much as I think other women have. But say when it comes to raising kids, there's a lot of things you have to balance. It's not just now responsibilities of the home, work and things. You also have to think about your children. And children coming from Muslim backgrounds have curriculum activities like, mosque and Quran classes and things like that. So you have to work your way around that. And I think that's where having a good partner, a supportive family comes in, because without that, you couldn't do not even running, anything. You couldn't really achieve any goals without that support system.
No, I absolutely agree with you. And previously on these episodes, we have talked about how the community is quite supportive and all these run clubs that you can go to, they're quite supportive. You get good advice out there. But I think that's one aspect of it. Another thing is what happens at home and how important that is on giving you that extra support, that pat on the back, that reassurance. And it changes the world when you know you've got the support from home in going out and doing that. That's from my perspective anyway. So I can only understand how it must feel from from the view that you're trying to bring here. I think we previously spoke to a sister too who talked about a few challenges that she had to face. Sister Arsia, actually, you might have touched base with her previously. You might have listened in on that, and so she had to fight that norm from her side. She's regularly out there from time to time doing her time on the street, so that's great. What difference has this all brought to you in terms of running?
Confidence. I think more than anything, it's confidence and the idea that I can do something. I very easily quit. Like
Tasnia's a quitter.
The first hurdle. Oh my goodness! The way I quit everything.
The fact that she actually managed to even not just run one marathon but a few marathons, I think is astonishing, given that she quits everything.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got 6 here. London, Manchester, and Berlin.
But I think my main thing is confidence. And I mean, we've had I don't know if Samia has had it as well. I've had abuse on races. I've had abuse when I'm out running. They're both from people within my community, outside of my community. And it hasn't stopped me to the point where I don't run, but
It's at the back of your head somewhere.
yes, it is. For example, I'm very fortunate to have a treadmill. And then before I got a treadmill, I had access to a gym. So I was running there, but it's obviously not the same thing. But I think my main thing is confidence and the confidence to keep going. So even when I have had like pushbacks, it's to change the way I do something. So maybe instead of going out at 8 p.m. outside, I'm going on the treadmill, but I'm still running. It's not like I've given up on running completely. But yeah, definitely the honestly, sometimes my dad thinks I'm too confident, but it's definitely confidence that I've gotten from running.
In terms of the abuse part, is that something you can elaborate on?
Oh, I've had I mean obviously okay,
I
so
mean,
during one of the races,
why were you on the receiving end of that? That's what I'd like to know.
because of the way I look.
And not on the giving side.
No, I think that's what surprises people that I'm not on the giving side. But no, I'm on the receiving end because of the way I look. I'm a very easy target. I'm small. I wear a hijab. I'm brown. Um, so you would think I'm an easy target. In a race, it happened with some young, very young guys who, were throwing abuse about 9/11 at me. And I just ran past them, joined the next big crowd ahead of me. I told the charity about them. I told the race organizers about them. Um, they were really disgusted. And then I've had Samia used to live more in the Newham area. So I remember when Idris was born, because Idris was born 2015, and so that was like the start of my training for the 2016 London Marathon. And I remember I went out and there was like an uncle. I mean, I call him uncle. I don't know who he was, but he was disgusted because how can someone that looks like me be out running? Um, then you've had this the sleaziness as well. Then you've had or I've had like teenage boys taking up space on the pavement so that I'm forced to go onto a main road, a busy road. And it's just a bunch of laughs for them. Uh, but I think all of these things, and the younger me, like to be fair, if it happened very, very early on in my running journey, I probably would have quit. I would have just said, yeah, it's not for me. But with every run, it was very much, I can do this. I'm going to carry on doing this. And it didn't matter what abuse I got, even from home, with relatives, kind of, if you do this, when are you going to get married? Kind of abuse.
Which was really daft because her twin sister was married and at this point had children and was also running. So that point was
Yeah.
really quite daft.
Yeah. But I think it is just them projecting their insecurities. That's what I've learned as I've gotten older, that this abuse is nothing to do with me. It's everything to do with them.
Hats off to you for, like you mentioned, if it happened earlier on, maybe things would have been different, but you were able to fight it and overcome those challenges. So well done to you. It's just a complete waste of energy whenever anyone does anything like that in terms of throwing abuse or just getting in someone's way or creating hurdles or challenges. It's just absolutely unnecessary. It doesn't help anyone. Don't know how it can make anyone feel better, but yeah, no, well done, Tasnia, for overcoming all that. Samia, Tasnia had confidence. How about yourself?
Running has made me just realize that I can do something that I don't have to be good at. We've been raised to, like not just from our home, but just society where you should only do something that you excel in. But I've realized that I don't have to excel in it. I can just enjoy it. And I think it's important that I show that I enjoy it as well, because my kids are going to, well, they're witnessing it. They can see that, okay, yeah, mum also runs. And they know I'm not as fast as their dad. I'm like half his speed. But they know that I enjoy it. When they ask me, they know that I'm happy to run. And I think it's important for me that I've got the confidence whilst doing it, but also that I'm happy doing it, because then my kids will see we just need to be confident and happy doing whatever it is that we want to do. But also I think confidence in a sense that after my second child, when I was running with a buggy. And because I had that confidence from running before, I was then confident enough to run in my hijab and abaya, very much look, Muslim, but then run with a buggy, which is an additional strange thing for our community.
And now you see stroller after stroller sometimes.
And it's brilliant, fantastic.
I think what I love about what with Samia's children is their normal is completely different to what other young Muslim children are seeing. Their normal is seeing their mum and their auntie wearing a hijab, look different and run and participate and happily participate and be welcomed as well into these races. When we go to races, people aren't giving us dirty looks like, ugh, what is she doing here? We're very much welcomed in these races, whether it's a club race, whether it's one of those big races. And they're seeing that. So that's what I love for them, that they are growing up seeing that as normal, because we didn't grow up seeing that as normal. And I know there are still some Muslim children out there that are not seeing that as normal.
Is there a main running club that you're both affiliated with, that you represent each and every time you're out there?
East London Runners.
East London Runners is what Shahib was part of. And so then I joined, and then Tasnia moved to East London and then joined that running club as well. And they've been great. Obviously, any running club would like to have fast runners to represent them, but they're very welcoming.
All abilities.
For all types of runners, all abilities, yeah. And they've been very welcoming.
I think it's great out there in terms of all these running clubs having and welcoming everyone from different cultures, different backgrounds, different abilities. And it just comes down to the one thing. It's the main thing is that you're out there. It doesn't matter what distance you're doing. And sorry if I keep coming back to the same point, but that is something that I feel we easily forget. We get too locked down and bogged down into half marathons and which one you're signing up for and which one you're balloting for, and have you seen that new watch, and have you got these new shoes, or the new versions are out, and all that. We kind of drift away from why we started in the first place. We were looking for somewhere to get some confidence,
Absolutely.
get some positivity, possibly network a little bit too. Socialize at the same time, so have a bit of a chat, have a bit of fun, network a little more, and get our health back on track. That's what we wanted, right? And it's those few things that I feel not everyone, sorry, the majority, I would say, drift away from, and it becomes everyone's in that commercial rat race, I feel.
I do think though, running now, and I think this is more, I mean, I've only noticed it post-COVID, has become a lot more influencer kind of a thing, where there's a lot more influencers doing it. So it is like you said, it's just a bit more commercialized. Now when you see the celebrities that have signed up for London Marathon, there's a whole bunch of influencers who are doing it, and then because they've signed up, then everyone else thinks they should sign up too, which is great. If that's what you want to do, then do London Marathon. But really, I would wish for everyone to just be influenced to run, if that's all they see from this. But yeah, I think it is just becoming a bit more commercialized, and it's this influencer wore this when they ran, so I need to wear this when I run. But we're all different. One shoe doesn't fit all.
I think it's just, you just need to find your comfort zone, whatever you're comfortable with, and just stick to that.
Yeah.
Good point you brought up there, though, Tasnia, but I'm gonna ask Samia this. Someone starting now, how would you go about guiding them? Where should they start? Could be a hijabi sister like yourself.
So this is what I advised another friend who was a mum. Get yourself a good pair of trainers, a supportive underwear, and breathable clothes, and then just run 200 meters and come back, see how you feel, and then maybe go walking for like another 10 minutes. And then the next day set off and run 400 meters. So that's what, for 4 minutes maybe, and just take it from there. She was asking for advice about buggy runs, but same concept. Just do 1 lap and then maybe increase it to 1.5 laps and then 2 laps. And then that's how you, once you're confident running, you can maybe go on for half an hour. But that's all you need. You don't even need a watch. There's loads of apps you can use on your phone. If you want to get a watch, there's lots of watches out there. It doesn't have to be the latest gadget. But yeah, just literally step out and put one foot in front of the other.
Tasnia, in regards to getting started?
I think everything that Samia said, but also don't be afraid to be slow. Like we were saying, how it's very easy to get, even when you do a park run, you get, like my dad would always go to the front of like, Dad, let's step back, like let's slow it down. Because it's very easy to kind of get swayed with the motion of everything. But yeah, don't be afraid to slow down. I think 10 years ago, I wish someone had told me to slow down, and not just slow down my speed, but also the way in which I was increasing my distances. Because I went from no running to I'm doing London Marathon, but I really do think you just work on a base. You don't need to be going from 0 to 100. 0 to 5 is better than 0.
Does that kind of link up to what you were saying, is when coming from a social background where you're told, well, if you want to do something, you need to be like the best at it rather than just doing it? Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's almost like if you want to be known as a runner, you have to do a marathon to be known as a runner. But that's obviously, we all know that's not true.
And it's actually quite sad. I think it's quite sad because you see a lot of influencers and on social media, people running a marathon and training for a marathon. And then you see another person, let's call them X. So X is running, say, consistently 5Ks. And then this influencer is training for a marathon. But this person X has been running consistently for 5 years, whereas this marathon runner, who will be known forever as a marathon runner, has stopped running. Because they've done the marathon, they've got the medal, they've got the T-shirt, bish bash bosh, finished, and they haven't continued. Whereas that runner X has been consistent, but they're not. And it's sad to say that some people don't consider them a runner because they haven't done a marathon.
Yeah. I mean, it's almost in like normal discussions and the conversations you have, whether you're talking to someone who has run, knows anything about it or not. You talk to someone, you're like, so. Oh, do you run regularly? Yes, I do from time to time. So have you done a marathon yet? That's like the first question that comes out. And it's just like,
Yeah.
no. And then the next question is, okay, so are you going to do one, or like, what's your plan?
Yeah. But I think Samia touched upon this. I think starting out, it's better to do little and often. I think that's for anyone that's starting out. Like my dad just goes to the junction, like the main traffic light junction, and then will turn back, and he does that every other day. But that's little and often. And at his age, I think it's brilliant that he's doing it, because if I look at him pre-COVID and now, he's healthier now. Like alhamdulillah, he's much healthier now compared to his health back then, and it's all because of little and often.
No, once again, I'm going to say that's the fact that he got that inspiration from yourselves, and your Samia, your husband too, who's obviously played a part in that as well. I don't know, should I give him some credit or not?
No, definitely he has. I think a lot of the time people think, oh wow, Shahib, he's done so many marathons, he's amazing, we couldn't do that. But instead of being quite haughty, he's very much like, no, absolutely you can run. You don't need to run a marathon. You just need to do a few kilometers. And then he'll show off about his father-in-law. But it's encouraging when someone like Shahib, who's got the experience of so many marathons, I'm just going to put it in there that he's unofficially the first British Bangladeshi male to have achieved the 6 stars. But someone with all these medals and things, to encourage someone to just go running is great, because sometimes we think, oh, he's achieved so much and he's so we can't be like him. But no one's telling you to be like him. You just have to be you and run a short amount of distance. Not even running. We don't even have to go to running. You just have to take ownership of your health.
No, again, I think that's necessary for us to having just done the one so far. I would happily tell someone that it's you don't have to go all the way. You don't have to do that 42K in order to sign off that yes, I'm a runner now. Once again, hats off to Shahib and congratulations on him being the first from a Bangladeshi background to achieve that. Not only getting the 6 star, but he also ran Sydney recently too. Yeah, no. So one thing I will take this further into is, what is your why?
I think previously my why was to prove people wrong.
Hmm.
Yeah.
To prove to people that I can do something. And now I think, now that I have 3 children, 3 healthy children, alhamdulillah, I think my aim and my why is to remind myself and them that our bodies are an amana from Allah, and that we need to take ownership and take care of our bodies. So that's not just through exercise, but also through what we feed our minds and what we feed our body. And also just to stay fit, I suppose. It's more just to stay fit and healthy so that I can be more present for my children.
Tasnia, the same thing for yourself?
Yeah, I think it was initially to prove people wrong that, because like I said, I always quit everything. But now it's just because I can, because I'm blessed enough to have a functioning, healthy body. So why not? I mean, like that's it. Yeah, like if I'm blessed enough to have what I have, then why not?
I think we also forget, I know you touched on this, but we get sucked into this whole idea of what gadgets to use and what to wear. But, we're actually very privileged to be able to run for the sake of running.
Absolutely.
I do think, though, in terms of privilege here, running a marathon, you do have to be very privileged to be able to run a marathon, because it is expensive. Like, to just sum it up, it is very expensive, whether it's your time, whether it's your money. It's very expensive to train well and safely for a marathon. It is expensive. So you do need to come from a privileged background in that sense, whether it's the privilege of having a supportive family, whether it's the privilege of having time where people are working endless hours, the privilege of having the money to spend on, not better shoes, but a different kind of shoe for a marathon. The nutrition that comes with it. Yeah, the gels, the recovery that comes with it. So we are very, very privileged that we have been able to run the marathons, the races that, we have done. But that doesn't mean that just because you don't have the same privilege as us, that you cannot run.
No, I think that's well put, well said. Again, those are things that we forget. We take them for granted, don't we? Each and every day. We started off during the introduction and we were kind of moving into the training part, but I wanted to kind of put slight pause on that there to bring it up later on in the end. What are you both currently training for?
Berlin
Marathon.
Which is coming this Sunday.
I know.
Tasnia, you ran London this year.
Yeah.
What's the training window been like for you since then?
So post marathon, I think I didn't do much. Well, no, I did here and there running just so that because I knew I had Berlin. So it wasn't really training, but it was more just to not get rid of that fitness. And then I started a 16-week plan.
Were you able to stick to it much?
This Berlin, yes. I think London I found really difficult because well, like Samia's mother-in-law passed away, but she passed away in January, so I think that affected my training. And I was just so umming and ahhing whether I wanted to do London's, and I was just so, like I said, ready to quit, as with everything. And then I didn't. But I think Berlin, again, I had the time, given that I had the school holidays, to when I had to really build up the mileage. I think my training this time around, I've just been more consistent compared to London. And I'm really, really hoping it's not hot. I mean, I'm just like watching the weather, like glued to the weather app right now.
Yeah, it seems to
I'm
be
really
changing every day.
hoping.
That's something that we've noticed as
Every
well.
hour it's changing, and I'm so paranoid.
It's not static at all. So
I'm just going for vibes, really.
Yeah.
So
having one key question though, having both done Berlin last year, what brings you to the following year and doing it again?
Our bestie.
Yeah, let's hear about that.
No, so one of our best friends, she signed up because she came out and supported us for Berlin.
She hadn't signed up. She said she wants to do a marathon. She
Yeah.
wants to do Berlin because she it's open roads and things. And by then we both decided that, we've retired from marathons. But then Tasnia did London. Anyway.
You
and then I was like,
messed
okay,
that
do you know
packed
what?
up right there, Tasnia. You just totally threw that out.
And then I was like, look, let's apply as a team because you've always supported us for all of our marathons. So now we want to give back to you. So instead of you doing it on your own, we'll run it with you, but we'll apply as a team. But then Tasnia was scared and she applied by herself. And so me and my friend applied and we actually got in. And I was like, oh no, I have to train now. And then Tasnia got FOMO and she was like, oh, I didn't get in. So she applied through a charity. But now it's going to be us three running, not together because Tasnia's a lot faster.
Tasnia, what time are you going for in Berlin?
I just want a PB.
What was your
My
time
PB
last year?
currently is 4:57.
Okay.
I'm a very mid-level runner. And this is just to say, if I can do it, you can. But yeah, just if I can get a PB, that would be nice. But I don't know what the weather's like.
Yeah, no. That's it comes down to a few things that we were talking about offline too, about it being like a fast course or a flat course.
Yeah.
And I've got a few things in my mind in regards to what that means as well.
But you'll find though, and we spoke about this before, but you'll find that the journey for each marathon, even if it's the same marathon you're training for, is different. So the training and the race itself will have its own stories. The training program, you've just done a 16-week program or a 15-week program. You'll find that's different compared to your previous races. And then the race day itself is completely different and is very much like pregnancy. Each pregnancy, the 9 months is different. You'll find each 9 months is different. And then the labor itself is different. But the end goal is you get the medal, you cross the finish line, you get, you give birth to a child, whether you cut open, you push out, you have that child. And I think people need to remember that we all have different stories. We all have different whys and things, but we will achieve similar goals.
At the end of the day, it's a start, it's a finish, right? So
Exactly. And I think people get so hooked up on times, including labor, by the way, what's better, what's not. Like, oh, I was in labor for 48 hours. That means my labor was worse. And, I ran for 3 hours. So that means I'm super fast. But if you were in labor for 2 hours and you ran a marathon in 8 hours, you still ran a marathon. You still gave birth. You still went through the pain. And I think people forget that they need to realize that everyone has a different story. And I'm sure when you run, Nadeem and Tasnia, when you're running the marathon, you'll I don't know if you talk to people in running, but you'll hear lots of stories of why they're running and how their training has gone. And we need to remember that everyone here is running the marathon for different reasons, and respect that. I think what we need to remember is respect that people have got different journeys.
Yeah, absolutely, they do. Anything planned beyond Berlin?
Just to
I think
enjoy
it's
running.
just to be running.
Yeah.
Enjoy running, and make sure I'm including strength training as well.
Not retiring from marathons anytime soon.
No, we are. I'm sorry. This is it. This is the last one. I'm so sure about this one. Like, I
We
mean
have
it,
it.
guys. It's the last one.
We have it on the record now, though, right?
No, I think before I've always needed a marathon to continue my running journey, but I think now with age and, you know, being in my 30s, realizing the importance of staying healthy, I'm just looking forward to doing consistent running, consistent strength training, going with my dad, you know, and just being able to, because I don't have to say, oh no, dad, I've got a long run. You know, just to enjoy it for enjoyment's sake.
Samia, how about you?
Yeah, just enjoy it. I think it will be a little bit sad running Berlin Marathon, because I told my mother-in-law last year that, you know, next time I run a marathon or decide to run one, you need to tell me off. And she's never told me off for running, whether she's been happy about it or not. She's never told me off. And it'll be sad that this time round, when I do complete the marathon, she won't be there to congratulate me. She was Tasnia's biggest
Biggest fan.
cheerleader. So it will be sad, but I think, yeah, she's probably like thinking, well, I'm not here to stop you, so go and run.
No, it's really nice that both of you will kind of have this memory of her out there. But at the same time, it's okay to not have any marathons further down the line. It's okay not to have any long runs further down the line too. I mean, that's one thing that we've kind of discussed today, and it's been good to kind of make a point about that, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, absolutely. I think for some people, having that long run is really good. For me, not so much.
I mean, it's okay to have that personal 13, 15, even if you want to go for a half yourself, that's fine. But still, that still seems a little different to when you sign up to like the Hackney half or the big half or any of the other half marathons. That's what I kind of meant. Anything that has like an event kind of linked to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no pressure. You just do it for your own self.
Just do it for yourself. Yeah. And it's okay to do it solo if you have to. But yeah, no, it's been great having you both. Thank you so much for taking the time out and kind of breaking the norm here and having two of you on at the same time. Yeah, hopefully it goes down really well. And wishing you both the best for coming Sunday.
And you as well.
Yeah, no, thank you so much. I'm sure your training, however you coped, however you like performed this summer, it's gonna work out for the best of you. And fingers crossed, inshallah, you both get your PBs this Sunday too. So look after yourselves there, look after yourselves on the way back, and we'll touch base on your experience of it soon. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thanks everyone for joining us today. Thank you so much for your feedback that's coming through. Continue to send that in. All the best for all those running Berlin. Once again, take care everyone.